Good evening, everybody. I am Eddie Winchester, and to my left,
Cat Quinn.
and always to my right is
Cadaver the Clown.
Now, Cadaver. We are actually doing something that Cat has been begging for the last couple of videos, and it's something that we know all too well. So take it away.
Yes, the Mothman.
Hooray!
All right. No, we're not doing the Mothman. We're doing something a little different. This is kind of more, I wouldn't say near and dear to me and Ed, but this is something that's been around us since we were younger from where we are originally from. We're from a place called Staten Island, New York. And this is basically some lore that's kind of been around there. So,
which started in the 70s. Well, actually, it was before the 70s, but what took place on Staten Island happened in the 70s.
Well, we're gonna get no. The actual ones, it was actually more the late 70s, early 80s, actually. So to get that timeline correct there. I mean, the 80s were a crazy time. Everybody did a lot of cocaine, voted for Reagan,
The satanic of it all.
It was, oh man, it was just nutty, Disco was on its way out, new wave was coming in. It was just
It was
a lot going on. I mean, and then you get the lovely byproduct of the 80s, which you're currently watching now. I'm an 80s baby. Ed's an 80s baby. Cat, pardon.
I'm not an 80s baby.
Oh, you're not? Get out!
Get out of here!
Bye.
The way that I had this done is every town has a boogeyman. A story whispered around campfires, a warning from parents to keep their children from wandering too far after dark. On Staten Island, that monster had a name, Cropsy. Some said it was an escaped mental patient. Others claimed he was a deranged groundskeeper, horribly disfigured in a fire. Depending on who was telling the story, he carried an axe, had a hook for hand, or whatever your imagination feared worst. But every version ended the same. He lived in the woods around Willowbrook, and if he found you, you were never coming home. And for decades, Cropsy was just that, a legend. Until children actually began disappearing, and one man would become forever linked to that myth. His name was Andre Rand. Actually born Frank Rushin, Andre Rand spent time working as an orderly and a physical therapy aide at the Willowbrook State School during the late 1960s. Even before his name became associated with missing children, Rand already had a disturbing criminal history. Now, tell me if you knew any of this. In 1969, he kidnapped a 9-year-old girl. Yeah. He drove to an isolated area, removed both their clothing, and was interrupted only because a police officer happened to drive past. He pleaded guilty to sexual abuse and was only given about 16 months. And then he was released. For most people, that would have ended any opportunity to work around children. Right?
Nope.
Not Andre.
At that time.
So years later, while employed as a school bus driver, he took 11 children from a YMCA without permission, brought them to get food before driving them to Newark Airport. Do you know where he brought them to get food?
If you say an In-N-Out burger, so help me.
No, there's none around. There's no In-N-Out up there.
Okay.
No, he went the full Harold and Kumar route and went to White Castle.
White Castle.
So he went.
I remembered that story.
Yeah, they went to White Castle and then they went to Newark Airport and were watching the airplanes, touch down and take off.
And the kids had no idea what was going on.
Nope.
Wow.
So, but thankfully,
were they?
They were various age, but they were young. He took 11 of them.
Yeah.
But every child, when he came back, no kid was harmed, and he was convicted of unlawful imprisonment. So he wound up doing a few months there too. I think it was closer to like a year or two. And the only reason he got that low was because none of the kids were harmed.
Right.
So looking back, it's really impossible not to wonder how many warning signs were missed with this guy. And then later on, the disappearances began. One of the most heartbreaking victims was 7-year-old Holly Ann Hughes.
Yeah.
She vanished in July of 1981. She was walking to a neighborhood store to get soap, and she vanished.
Yep.
She never came home. Her body was never found. Years later, prosecutors built a circumstantial case against him, and he was convicted of kidnapping Holly despite the absence of a body. To this day, many believe she was murdered, though no murder conviction was ever obtained.
A fun note, my parents were part of the search party back then looking for Holly.
So was my mom. My mom was too. She said that they tried that whole, the neighborhood goes out and looks, and they were calling her name and stuff.
Back then, if something happened on Staten Island, like one person wasn't involved, everybody was involved.
It was
and
a
was
community.
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm pretty sure still Staten Island. If you sneeze in Tottenville, somebody in Port Richmond is going to say bless you.
Did you hear something?
But what's crazy about the whole thing about him being convicted of kidnapping Holly, that happened in November or 2003, 2004 area. And around that same time frame, both Ed and I went to these two schools that happen to be right down the block from each other. Mm-hmm. I went to a place called McKee Vocational and Technical High School, and Ed went to a place called Curtis.
That looked like a goddamn fucking castle out of fucking Harry Potter or some shit.
It really did. It really did. And then there was like a city block in between the two, and all of us, the unwashed miscreants of those two fine establishments with Lord knows how many other strays, used to all congregate in one area, and it was called Borough Hall.
Yes!
And we all came down there, and it was if you would have went down there, it was
just a misfits of broken toys, man. That was it.
It was the island of broken toys. We were all sorts, you had all sorts of kids. You had like the rockers, you had like the freaking, you had everybody.
There was so many levels. You had the metalheads, you had the punks, you had the emos, you had whatever. We were just all there, and we would just hang out.
It was a hangout.
I finally get my moment to shine because I had this mess up during the Texarkana Moonlight murders. It's Island of Misfit Toys. Continue.
Whatever you say there, town that feared sundown. But
I know my Christmas movies, okay.
But yeah, so we had that whole group there, and one day when I was on my way into school, I walked up the steps and I cut through Borough Hall because I would go to the ferry terminal. I'd take the bus there from home.
That's what we would usually do. Either we would take the bus and get off at the bus shelter, or we would take the bus into the ferry and walk up the very steep hill. We would cut through Borough Hall, then go up the steep hill to get to school.
This hill was that hill was no joke, man. You know when it was funniest? During ice.
Yep.
I was about to say, and we walked to school barefoot in the snow.
No. I mean, no. This hill just went straight up like that, and it was to the point where when you would walk up this hill, your legs were burning.
Yep.
That's dedication.
I always wondered why my calves are so. I got some strong ass looking calves right now.
But when you'd go up that hill, your legs are burning. It sucks. You're cursing every step of the way. But after doing that for 4 years, you get used to it.
Yeah.
But around the winter time, when things would start to ice over, it was hysterical because you'd watch people go and they'd slide all the way down.
All I could picture was the penguins from Crash Bandicoot.
That's basically it. And you know what? A little bit of pop culture reference here too. At the top of that hill, when you'd walk up, they had the St. George Theater.
Okay.
And if you remember the movie School of Rock,
yeah,
when they play their show at the end, the Battle of the Bands,
that's where it was.
That's where that was filmed. So they were asking kids and stuff. Hey, they were trying to get kids to be extras and things like that and stuff. So you'd see the cast being brought out and it was weird to see when you're going from school, to wherever you're going to go hang out or go home, and you see kids that aren't in school and they're making more money than you'll ever fucking make in your life.
Side note: when in the movie School of Rock, the school shots were shot at the Wagner College on Staten Island,
and some of them, I believe, were St. Peter's.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was filmed there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Jack Black or anything.
I had cool stuff filmed in New Mexico.
We don't talk about that.
I had the hills have eyes. It was those mountains were an hour away from where I lived in New Mexico. We had Transformers, which was filmed out in White Sands. I actually lived in the area of White Sands.
So did you get to see any of like the cars and stuff out there, or, you know?
I didn't, but my dad got
Woo!
so close to seeing Megan Fox. Actually, though, speaking of my dad, Breaking Bad was also filmed in Albuquerque, which was a 2.5-hour drive from where I lived. He took me while I was in high school to a
everything in New Mexico is a 2.5-hour drive away. That's everything.
Oh, I know, but he actually
sucks.
took me to a festival in Santa Fe, and because I was a theater kid, I'm doing the headshots, I'm doing like the dry reads, the whole nine. And as a joke, I tell my dad, "Hey, you should do a headshot." And he was like, "This is dumb. I'm not doing that." And I was like, "Just for shits and giggles, Dad, just do it." He does it, and the son of a bitch actually gets a callback for Breaking Bad.
That's awesome.
And then he tells me, he was like, "Well, obviously I can't do it. Why don't you call them and you get into the show?" And I'm like, "That's not how casting works, my guy." No.
You can't just be like, "Hey, you know."
So you called my dad, but I'm actually the theater kid of our family.
Actually,
how far away were you? Sorry.
That actually worked in my favor once.
Nobody.
And I got on the show Gotham because of that. I just happened to drive past what they had Arkham Asylum, and I was like, "Oh!"
I saw. Yeah, dude. Oh my God, I've seen that. Back, what the hell? Bailey Seaton. They used to have all like the Arkham Asylum stuff back there. It was so freaking cool.
I drove past and I saw the Arkham Asylum awning. I was like, "What is this?"
There was the arch, right?
Yep.
My ex was an extra in Book of Eli. I completely forgot that the town 15 minutes from us was shot in Book of Eli, and he was actually one of the extras.
Fuck him.
15 minutes away, yet still inexplicably a 2.5-hour drive away.
It was truly.
There's some sort of vortex you wind up driving through.
No, we got off on a completely different tangent. But that hill, me and Cadaver used to walk up every morning for school. It was literally just one hill that we had to it would divide. As soon as we got up to the top of the hill, it would be divided. He would go left, I would go right. But we would always take the same hill down, and
we'd always meet up at the end and go down. We'd walk up that big ass hill, just trudging up there. Usually, I'd have a bagel and a cup of coffee while doing it.
That's right.
Let's see. But one morning, I remember this. I don't think you were with me for this because I was running late, as I did frequently because me and Time are not friends. Yeah, no. So, I was running late. I went through Borough Hall. I walked up the steps of Borough Hall because the way it was you'd go up steps, and then it's a long walkway. And the walkway has steps going to the side, and it leads into the little park area where we would hang out. But you go up that walkway, and then there's steps, landing, and then up to the street. So I walked up that way, and they had police everywhere. And police everywhere. They had a van on one side that blocked off one side of the road, and a van down on the other, and there's a van in the middle. And as they did that, we had New York City Corrections came out in full heavy armor, rifles, the whole deal. And on the back, it said New York City Department of Corrections. Then it said Emergency Services Unit. And they came out. They blocked off the street, and that van in the middle. They opened the door, and Andre Rand came out and had body armor on. And
I don't know if that was the same time, but I had one like that. I was coming down the hill, past there, all the delis and whatnot. I get in front, and I see vans, and whatnot, and I see him coming out, and at the time I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, no idea. But you know that he's somebody because
he was they brought him out in shackles and everything.
And he looked angry. He came out
It wasn't until I did digging years later and I found out exactly who that was. I was like, holy shit.
Incidentally, though, they would bring in people for morning arraignments. So you'd have the prison bus pull up behind the courthouse because the way it was Borough Hall was here, and you had Borough Hall, and then you had the Supreme Court building. So you were in between both. So our dumbasses as teenagers used to hang out and loiter in this place, and it was between the two areas that have the most police in this entire fucking region. But neither here nor there. So
we weren't very bright.
No. But you know what? It was kind of like one of those things where we were so close that nobody ever suspected us.
Right.
Hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. So yeah, they would bring in these buses in the morning to do arraignments. And the way that the corrections buses would pull up, they'd have a chain that they'd run from the bus to the door, and they'd hook the guys to the chain. So they'd come out so they can't run anywhere once they get off the bus. And I remember, because these guys are all chained together, so it's a chain gang. They start moving them out, and I remember one guy missed a fucking step. And he goes, poof, and all he sees everybody.
Domino effect.
And I had to leave because my first thought was I was going to start laughing. And I don't want any one of these prisoners to see me laughing because I don't want any trouble because I'm a teenager and I don't want to get my ass beat possibly by a prisoner. And in my teenage brain, that was very possible, even though it really wasn't. You
need to leave.
I walked past one day and there was a guy who was like, yo, give me your wallet. And I was like, isn't that how you got in there? So neither here nor there. But yeah, that day I came up and I saw Andre Rand. I've seen a bunch of people that got brought in. And years later, I had a boss that used to work there. He was corrections, and he was in charge of the holding cells in there. And he said that Andre Rand was brought in from those times. And he said what he thought was hysterical was you had all these guys from corrections that came in with like heavy armor, rifles, and everything else. And he's like, they'd knock on this back door. They go... They'd open the door and he goes, and they'd give them to us. He goes, we have nothing. We're just, hey, what's up, guys? You know.
Wait,
So
you want a snack? You want a bag of pretzels? Water? You good?
So he's like, they'd bring him in. He goes, we're like Mayberry over here, you know, fucking Andy Griffith and shit. But yeah, all right, let's get back to this. So no murder conviction was ever obtained for Andre Rand from Holly Ann Hughes. Despite that, he just got hit with the kidnapping charge. Then came Jennifer Schweiger. Jennifer was 12 years old and had Down syndrome. On July 9th, 1987, she disappeared. So that'll actually make it 39 years tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Weeks later, investigators discovered her remains buried in a shallow grave on the grounds surrounding the abandoned Willowbrook State School. Andre Rand... Oh, well, hold on. The location immediately reignited every terrifying story Staten Island ever told about Cropsey. Andre Rand was arrested and eventually convicted of kidnapping Jennifer. Jurors, however, were unable to unanimously agree on a murder conviction. Even so, few people doubted who they believed was responsible. To this day, like I had a conversation with my mother a little bit ago about this, and I asked her if she actually thought Andre Rand was responsible for this. And she said she didn't know. She doesn't think so. Because she said he's not all there. She said there's something off about him, you know?
And that, honestly, that's what I've been saying for years. I don't think he murdered those children. He may have kidnapped them, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do believe that, but murdering them, no. I do not believe that was him.
Well, we're going to get to that too. So, all right, now Rand's name it surfaced in connection with several other missing children over the years, including Alice Pereira, which is hysterical because around 2013 they did a Cropsey documentary, and I was watching it with my wife. And Alice Pereira was taken from a place near Newark called Tyson's Lane. And they showed the apartment building that she was taken from. And when they showed the apartment building, it happened to be the same apartment building that my wife's friend lived in.
That was going to be a question.
So they showed it. I was like, holy shit, isn't that Stephanie's house? So, yeah, but Alice Pereira was taken. Tia Hees Jackson was taken from Mariners Harbor, which is, by the way, where I lived. And the other disappearance has never been conclusively solved. He's never been convicted in any of those cases. And investigators have never actually been able to prove his involvement beyond a reasonable doubt. So there would be no conviction anyway. And that uncertainty is kind of part of what has kept the mystery alive for decades, really.
Right.
Then there are stories that came from inside, like the prison. COs and stuff and inmates were testifying that Rand was allegedly bragging about his attraction to children. And he kept saying, one inmate basically said that Rand admitted to killing Holly Ann Hughes. And he kept comparing himself to Ted Bundy and making these comparisons, except he would say that Ted Bundy would go after women and he would go after children. Although his what's his face, he would kind of brag about this, and then his lawyer basically flushed it down the toilet, saying, "Well, it was just prison boastfulness," because he liked the attention it was giving him. So with that, though, Rand consistently denied killing anybody. He kept saying, "I've never done that. It's not, and whether the prison accounts are entirely accurate or not, they only deepen the darkness surrounding his name, because who would actually admit to these things?"
Right.
So now to kind of change gears a little bit, to understand why the Cropsey legend became so attached to Andre Rand, you kind of have to understand Willowbrook and the state school. Now, by the time Rand worked there, Willowbrook had already become one of the most overcrowded and neglected institutions in America.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of children and adults with developmental disabilities were subjected to horrific abuse, neglect, overcrowding, and even unethical medical experiments.
And with all that going on, Geraldo Rivera got famous for breaking the story on that.
Incidentally, remember last year at the Chiller Theater Con when I had to go there, I met Geraldo Rivera?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Remember that?
Yeah. I walked right past him, and I kind of wanted to ask him a question about it, and maybe if he would remember, and I didn't ask him.
Well, I feel like if we ever did that again, I think there's a possibility I would want to talk to him about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
what did he see with his own eyes that the cameras didn't catch?
Yeah.
The things that just couldn't be broadcasted.
Yeah. So now going on that, there's a lot of things that kind of have been brought up about there. Let's see. I'm trying to pull this up here, but like there was a movie in 1990. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It was called Jacob's Ladder.
Yes.
In the movie, he gets put into the institution.
Yep.
That's supposed to be Willowbrook.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that were brought up there. If you actually I'm pretty sure you could probably find that special from Geraldo Rivera online still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could see some of the horrific stuff that was there.
Wasn't that also kind of like derail us for all of 2 seconds? Wasn't Willowbrook one of the inspirations for American Horror Story Asylum?
Yes, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Nest. Yeah.
So now,
Willowbrook was also an inspiration for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes. Now, I mean, the book and everything else, but to be quite honest, Willowbrook State School was actually a place where actual real nightmares had already happened.
Absolutely.
Now, the area still exists.
Mm-hmm.
The area is now what we call CSI, the College of Staten Island.
But those buildings, that was the original facility, that is still standing, each and every part. It's just fenced off and not accessible. You can't.
It belongs to a New York State office, the New York State Office of Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities.
I don't like that turnaround.
Yeah, they fenced it off. They have their own cops there and everything. It's a whole thing. So
it's still a functioning.
Not really. No, they have some things that go on there, like they have some programs and stuff, but not to the extent that they had there before.
Right. Okay.
So it's like here's Willowbrook, here's the College of Staten Island. That's exactly, it's separated.
Yep. So I mean, now the College of Staten Island, though, that Willowbrook used to take all over that expanse, all of it. And now the problem with Staten Island is they had Seaview, Bailey Seton, all these places all had mental health clinics. And I mean, every one of us that grew up there has been in Seaview, the abandoned portion.
I still know Seaview like the back of my hand.
Same here.
Wait, what is that?
That's new. Now, the part of this whole thing that's kind of always felt surreal to me was because of Willowbrook being turned into CSI, because I went to school there. I know Ed did some time there,
I did my time. I did my time
there.
Yeah,
I did my bid. But I even worked. Actually, I worked on that campus for a while too. I used to write parking tickets.
How haunted is it?
It's got some interesting stuff to it, and there's some places that feel a little more off than others.
Yeah.
But when you would go to certain places, there's like you'd run into the fences. to those buildings that are, you know, more abandoned and stuff, and you could just feel like it's a shift in the entirety of the entire feeling of the area. It just kind of shifts. And what's really crazy is that you see
live on location next, folks.
and this is how we all got arrested.
Wouldn't be the first time, but the second time, third time.
You guys just joshing around.
What does joshing mean?
Ask him what joshing means. I'm not asking him.
You ask him.
But but yeah, so what was really crazy was to see like the students that would walk around laughing between classes, and they never actually would think about what was actually there before they got here, you know? But really, the history doesn't disappear just because new buildings go up and take its place. The greatest horror of Willowbrook wasn't a ghost story. It was the fact that it was real.
Yep.
And maybe that's really why the legend of Cropsey kind of survived for so long in these generations. The monster that your parents had warned you about wasn't that he was real until many would argue someone came along and made the legend feel real enough.
He was like our Freddy Krueger.
Yes. So, I mean, even though Andre Rand has been locked up for a large portion of his life, and he's in his 80s, and despite decades of investigations, many families still really believe there are answers buried with the children who never came home, the bodies that were never found, such as Holly Ann.
And he's still alive. He's still rotting in prison.
Oh yeah, he's
that was
still there.
my next question: is he finally fucking behind bars?
Yeah, he's been behind bars for a long time, since the 80s. But I mean, like, one of those convictions came 30 years later.
Yeah,
right.
So, I mean, they're just still hitting him with everything. But you know what? Judging by his past, I mean, to be honest, I think they said that they saw him with Holly Ann Hughes prior. Somebody claimed that they saw him holding her hand. Now, this could be just any claim. And I mean, even in the world of criminal justice, witness testimony really is not as cut and dry as everybody believes it to be.
Right. Or wants to believe it is.
Yes. I mean, it's just because, you know, somebody says, "Oh, I saw this," doesn't mean that that's the smoking gun that everybody thinks it is.
Right.
Because people's imaginations run wild. They go on different tangents. They forget things.
A lot of the people that did testify originally sort of recanted their statement because they couldn't, because they were either drug addicts at the time or alcoholics or both.
Or both.
You know, but I mean, it's, if you look at, like, it's just a lot of the stuff that people say is, you know, it's sensationalism, and it's swayed by the most cutthroat of all courts in the land, and that's the court of public opinion.
Yep.
Think of how many times you've gone to the store in the last couple of weeks, months, whatever it is, to go buy food or whatever, and you think to yourself, I need this, 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 and this. And as soon as you walk into the store, you're like, fuck, what did I need? You know? So
a loaf of bread, a Joe Dirt DVD.
or you do walk in with your list, and I'm only getting these things. $150 worth of bullshit later.
Yes, that actually happens all
and
the
you
time.
completely forgot the list.
That happens to me, except that $150, like 98 to like 105 of it's usually snacks.
Right.
Because we're fatties.
Well, no, they tell you never go food shopping when you're hungry.
You're hungry. And when do you go food shopping?
When I'm hungry. I'm all right. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of this. Oh,
we
man.
need groceries. I'm starving. Let's get this shit.
Oh shit! There's a sale on Pop-Tarts.
I mean, I walk in there and I'm like, all right, I got to get London broil. I got to get some chicken. And then I'm like, Chips Ahoy. Oh. You know, I mean,
onion chips would go great right now.
Oh, you know, that some Oreos would hit the spot, you know.
So then, of course, naturally, you got to get a gallon of milk to go with those Oreos.
Now, my problem is I have to get a gallon of milk. Then I have to spend extra money to get Lactaid, because if I get a gallon of milk, I'll be on the toilet for 2 days. But
next episode, Cadaver will be in his bathroom. Live.
That coffee that I had today had oat milk in it. Is one of the things about getting older. I can't. I'll be in the bathroom. It becomes a religious experience. It's awful. And by religious, I'm sitting there going, oh God.
You need an old priest and a young priest.
Like lava came out of me.
The power of Christ compels you.
All right,
And it was not compelling.
we're getting off topic here.
Don't we
Saying,
always?
it was like the Hulk ripping out the back of my pants.
There it is.
But all right. So now, to be honest, whether Rand was responsible for every disappearance that was attributed to him, I don't think we'll ever actually know.
No,
You know?
because he hasn't said a word to anybody since he's been in prison.
Mm-hmm. He refuses.
Mm-hmm.
But out of all that, one thing is certain. On Staten Island, the name Cropsey no longer belongs to only to folklore. It's, for many families, it became reality. It became history.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know how I would be able to take that sort of situation. I mean, not knowing, and then you have this ambiguous loss for the rest of your life. I mean, again, it's like 39 years tomorrow.
I mean, let's go back to when, we were younger. How many times were we out at, all hours of the day, all hours of the night, not calling our mom, not calling our dad. You'd be like, hey, this is what we're doing. We never did that. So now as an adult, I know the feeling of, because of my nephews and whatnot, I know the feeling of, hey, where are you guys? Like you haven't called. Fucking got to me the other day. I called one, he didn't answer. I called the other, he didn't fucking answer. So now
your mind goes to the worst possible scenario, knowing.
And then the older one FaceTime, man. I was like, "What the fuck did you answer your phone?"
You see, nowadays it's got to be different though, because we had it. It was a bit different from when we were younger, because I didn't have a fucking cell phone for a long time.
Neither did I. We still use the payphones.
Yep. And what we would do is not use the payphone that way. We'd call collect, and then we'd pull that whole Bob, we had a baby, it's a boy thing, Call for, Mom, I'm at the library. Come get me.
I'm in front of the mall. I'm ready to go home.
I'll be waiting by Chevy. You laugh, but that's just 100% fucking true. That's all factual shit.
The only difference is for... Again, there's not that much of an age difference, but for me, it wasn't that I didn't get to experience the payphone in that form. No, what I got was ask an adult and pray that adult did have a cell phone, because if they didn't, I'm sitting on the curb until they show up.
We couldn't do that, because we'd go to New York if you're at the mall and you're like, hey, buddy, can I use your cell phone to call my mom? Hey, go fuck yourself, kid.
Yeah.
Well...
Well, like the whole point that you were trying to make, and that I was trying to make, is these parents that lost their child and have no clue whether she's dead, she's alive, and I get that, because, like I said, with my nephews, they didn't pick up, and my mind went automatically to, okay, what the fuck happened? Like, okay,
something must be wrong.
Yeah, like, where are you guys? So, and I kind of feel a little sympathy for my mom back in the day, because I'm pretty sure she was, she was thinking the same shit. Like, where is he? He should have been home by now. Like, he said he was here, but he's not there. Yes, I was home when the streetlights came on. That was the deal.
The streetlights came on. Otherwise, you wind up on unsolved mysteries, like nature intended.
You were the kid on the milk carton.
But that was another thing. That shit don't happen anymore, but I remember that.
But Cadaver, you as a father, you can understand that if your child goes missing for even a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, where's your mind going?
I'm going to go ahead and say that this has kind of happened already, in a sense. When my oldest, we went to Target, and we had him, and I was moving this way, and he was a slippery little bastard. And
as one is.
Yeah, we were looking at shoes and stuff like that, trying to get him shoes, and we both had, and he managed to slip his way out from in between us, and I watched him turn and walk this way, and I went to go after him, and his ass was gone. And I was like, holy shit, where did he go? Holy shit. And that was it. Immediately turned into a whole thing. And I started running around the store trying to look for him. Turns out the first thing he did was he found a lady with a red T-shirt that worked for Target, and said that he didn't know where he was.
Oh, baby.
So yeah, so I mean that was a whole thing.
I've had one of those situations with my oldest. He was on the bus. He was supposed to get off at a certain spot. I get a call from his babysitter. Did you pick up oldest? No. So he's not with you? No. Cat, don't panic. He didn't get off the bus.
Don't panic. Yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
That's not what I'm doing. Like my boss, because I was obviously at work at the time, my boss comes around the corner and I'm already alabaster and I am freaking like translucent pale. He takes one look at me and he goes, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oldest didn't get off the bus." He pulls his own keys out of his pocket, throws them at me, and says, "Go find him."
He didn't get off the bus. What the fuck, man?
Not even. Like, my coworkers still to this, obviously I don't work there anymore, but my coworkers that I was still in communication with, they said it was like an unspoken understanding between the two of you. He reached into his pocket. I stood up. He throws the keys. I caught him midair, and I was already out the door as he was saying, "Go get him." And driving around for hours, calling everyone, calling my partner at the time, calling my mom, calling everyone, trying to find him. He fell asleep on the bus.
I've done that.
He fell asleep on the bus, and the bus driver goes back to the bus barn, parks the bus, had no idea he was still in there.
Aren't they supposed to check the buses for sleeping children? Isn't that a post, like a sign on the bus?
It was 3 hours later we find
that'd be terrifying.
To say that I was hysterical, to say that his babysitter was hysterical, everyone was just, panic went out the fucking window.
I know what that feels like.
The second of don't panic, and even she afterwards was like, "I was so stupid. Why the fuck did I say that?" Because you were trying to stay calm as well. You're in charge of him and you're trying to stay calm while trying to keep me calm. We're all moms. That goes out the window.
I'm going to get back onto this whole thing about, like, kids going missing and stuff. I mean, times surely have changed. I know that they said that, we were talking about, like, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones. I mean, I used to go, and I don't know if Ed can remember this, in Staten Island, you used to have, on South Avenue, you had Caldors.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We used to go to Caldors with my grandmother all the time, and there were multiple times my grandmother left me there and forgot that she brought me.
Oh, shit.
Because naturally, being a kid, she goes to go and look at the clothes or whatever else she's going to look at. I'm like, I'm going to go to video games, toys,
See, your grandma took you to those places and, forgot that she brought you. My parents would bring me to places and say they forgot.
I kind of suspect that that's what she was doing. I'm like, if you love it, let it go. If it returns, then
he's 5 years old. He's a man now. He can take care of himself.
Go forth. Go get a job.
And see, with my raising, my entire family is law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, police officers. So my grandmother ran a daycare until her doctors told her, "You physically cannot do work anymore. Either you get a desk job or you just straight up retire." Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say that I didn't have the wild, crazy experiences. There were still times where I told my parents, "Hey, I'm going here and I'm way over there." Mm-hmm. But it was more of I never got the opportunity to go far. Yeah. If that makes sense. My grandpa lost sight of me one time, and he did it intentionally to scare me. I thought I was big and bad at the ripe old age of 4. He went one way down the aisle. I went the opposite way down the aisle, and he watched me do this. So he simply stepped around to the other, went around the aisle to the other side. I turned around and he's gone. Mm-hmm. And I could not find him, and he felt horrible for it because I went straight panic.
See, that they couldn't do that with me because I would wind up with all new things and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to say that I was a bad kid. I just had no concept of, of commerce. Like, there was one time we went to, what the hell was it? What the hell was the store? It was like Woolworth or something.
Woolworth.
Yeah, Woolworth. We went there, and I wound up separating from my mother and going to look at stuff. And then I found her as we were getting ready to leave, and I walked out with a brand new Ninja Turtles watch. and I got very much in trouble for that.
So if anybody's wondering what a Woolworth was, because they don't exist anymore, it was kind of like the middle class or poor Walmart.
Oh, like a Kmart.
Oh yeah, no, there were Kmarts too.
Yeah, there were Kmarts too,
okay.
but you know.
So it was like between Walmart and Kmart? Okay.
Think of between Walmart and Dollar General.
Gotcha.
But
what Kmart was.
Kmart was still a little too high class, you know.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I have been, as we started with this, I've been asking to hear this because coming from West Texas, coming from New Mexico, I knew of Cropsey. I knew of the urban legend of Cropsey. It wasn't until meeting you two wonderful yahoos that I got to know even more. I was gonna say something else. I was trying to be like all like, hey, these are my buddies.
Bless your heart.
Well, ain't you just a daisy of a peach?
I'm sorry, I don't speak redneck.
Ed knew what I just said.
I know what you said, but
as I did. But I didn't know as much as you guys. I had heard Andre rant, but I didn't know. That's why I was dying for us to do this one, because it's something close and personal for both of you. So me being on the outside, being like, tell me more, go on. How many kids in total was it?
Are you actually asking?
Yes.
There were, as far as I know, there were a dozen cases still unsolved.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just the two tied back to Rant, or was there also what you said earlier that Andre Rant actually isn't his name? What's his government name?
Man, Frank. It's up to it's in. I have to go back here. Sorry.
And here's the portion of this episode where we cuss and discuss, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, we're here. He's Frank Rushan.
So where the fuck did Andre Rant come from?
I think he tried to change his name.
Okay. Legally or just...
I didn't hear what you said, sorry.
Legally or just...
No, legally. I think he tried to. And then, the whole situation was he was like, when they did the documentary and stuff, apparently, according to his younger sister, he didn't have like a bad upbringing or anything else.
No.
She said, she was like, we were never abused or anything like that. He's not even originally from Staten Island. He's originally from Ithaca, New York. So, he kind of had a drifter-ish type mentality to him. And to answer your question, it was actually 5 kids that were linked back to Cropsey. 5. But they're trying to say that there's a bunch of disappearances around that time, just like Ed was saying, that are unsubstantiated, but could very well be related.
Gotcha. So what was his final... What put him in jail for so long? Was it the 5, or was there more to the story?
It was the 5. That's what put him in there.
And was it a life sentence or?
No, hold on. Let me pull up the full.
Cue the elevator music.
He's told while Cadaver pulls his head out of his ass and answers Kat's question. Thank you for your patience.
With his criminal charges, he has convictions for sexual abuse from 1969, unlawful imprisonment from the YMCA
bus
thing. Yeah, the YMCA bus. That's 1983. Then he was hit with a first-degree kidnapping charge in 1988 and one in 2004. Those are what gave him the 1969 one. It was actually a 4-year in prison stint, but he was released after 16 months. The 1983 one, he was given 10 months in jail. And then for the first-degree kidnappings, he got 25 years to life in prison.
With no possibility of parole, or has his paroles been denied since?
No, his paroles have been denied since, but the first one was 25 years to life, and then the second one was another 25 to year life bid.
Okay, so not consecutive. He had to serve term for term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
yeah.
So how old was he when he went in for that? Do we know?
So you're asking strange questions about this.
I want to get as deep as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh yeah, and by the way, the people that were the suspected victims here was Alice Pereira, Audrey Lynn Nirenberg, right? She wasn't Staten Island. She was from Canarsie.
How far?
Canarsie is that's all the way in another borough. So
yeah, that's ways away.
Mm-hmm. And she wound up disappearing July 5th, 1977. So let's see, July 5th, 1977. But she was leaving and told her mother she'd be returning immediately. She was going to go 2 blocks to purchase cigarettes, but she never was seen or heard from again. But she had schizophrenia. And then there was, in the Willowbrook State School in 1978, Ethel Louise Atwell went missing while she was moving from the building to the parking lot. She said that there were witnesses that said they heard a male's voice saying, "Come on, come on," and Atwell say, "No, you'll beat me." And then she screamed, and then they called the police after hearing the screams, but everything was still dark and they didn't find anybody. They did find her tan pocketbook, 1 earring, and 1 black shoe. Oh, and a set of her dentures. And then in 1978, a 44-year-old nurse named Shin Lee went missing. Then she was found murdered by strangulation and buried in a shallow grave near a wooded area on the facility grounds. It says there's no concrete evidence linking him to that.
Right, that one doesn't seem to fit the MO.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because we go from to...
Yeah, it doesn't track.
No.
So then what they're saying is that witnesses said they saw what Holly Ann Hughes, they claimed to have seen Rand's green Volkswagen circling the business where Hughes vanished in 1981. Mm-hmm. Witnesses saw Hughes in Rand's car. He acknowledged playing hide and seek with Hughes on the day she vanished and gave her money to buy soap because she was filthy, but he claims to have left her before she vanished. Authorities also determined that Rand's aunt lived in the same Port Richmond apartment building where Hughes' family was murdered in 1981. So Rand was never charged with the child's murder due to a lack of evidence, but he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. And he's also serving 25 years to life for Schweiger's kidnapping. The second sentence made it extremely unlikely that he would ever be freed. Let's see. August 14th, 1983, 12 days after Rand was released from prison, 11-year-old Tia Heese Jackson was last seen leaving the Mariners Harbor Motel on Forest Avenue in Staten Island at 1:30 p.m. While Jackson's mother was asleep, another resident of the hotel sent Jackson to purchase chicken wings from Crown Supermarket in the 900 block of Richmond Avenue. Jackson never returned to the hotel and was never heard from again. Our mother woke up at 4:30 p.m. and, having discovered her daughter had been missing for 3 hours, immediately called police. Having both passed lie detector tests, Jackson's mother and uncle were ruled out as suspects in her disappearance. Andre Rand had a campsite at the Barrenhurst Cemetery less than 1/2 mile away from the Mariners Harbor Motel. Barrenhurst Cemetery. I remember that place too.
Yep.
Huge cemetery on Richmond Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Then a 22-year-old native of Staten Island gone drinking on June 8th, 1984. First went to a place, his name is Henry Gaffario. Went to a place called Mugs Away, but he was declined service. After that, he went to the Spa Lounge in Port Richmond neighborhood and remained there until it closed at 4 a.m. Before going missing, he was spotted at the diner with Rand. He vanished without a trace. At 7 p.m., he was reported missing. Gaffario was described as being slow and had an intelligence quotient in the 70s.
That's the kid that they said that resembled Mick Jagger.
Mm-hmm. And then 12-year-old Jennifer Schweiger, born with Down syndrome, was reported missing on July 9th, 1987. Witnesses spotted Schweiger walking with Rand. Her body was found underground after a 35-day search. While combing the area around Willowbrook State School, a particular spot caught the eye of retired New York City firefighter George Kramer. He returned with the police, and the entire body was unearthed from a shallow grave. The remains were positively identified as those of Schweiger. Police searched the grounds for evidence and found one of Rand's makeshift campsites in proximity to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
In 1988, he was charged with the kidnapping and first-degree murder of Schweiger. The Staten Island jury could not reach a verdict on the murder charge, but convicted him of the first-degree kidnapping. He was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. He would have been eligible for parole in 2008 if not convicted of a second kidnapping, according to the documentary Cropsy. Some people, along with detectives, speculated that Rand may have been involved with Satanism and provided the children to be sacrificed.
That's where the Andre Rand story gets a little deeper, which It's probably going to be this is probably going to be a two-parter.
Oh, incidentally, here's another little part, right? Jury convicted Rand of the kidnapping in October 2004, and he was sentenced to another consecutive 25 years to life in prison. He will become eligible for parole in 2037, and he'll be 93 at that time.
Girl, there's no way in hell.
No, so I mean that's in 11 years, you know.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he's
not going to see the light of day again.
No,
not as a free man.
Rest.
He'll see it from his little prison window.
Piece of shit.
Hey guys,
I can't come out, guys. I'm not allowed. I still have 11 years of my punishment.
My mom said that I can't come out.
I'm not allowed to. It's a school night.
Jesus.
But yeah, so I mean, I hope that helps with some of the some of the stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I
Gives you
knew
a bigger picture of the people that went missing.
absolutely because I knew it was deep, and for the part 2, I'll be more than happy to give an insight on the victims and as I typically do. But this one has just always been, like I said, I knew the urban legend. I knew of this boogeyman. I just didn't know the deeper connections to it until it was actually Ed who was like, wait, you know about this, right? And I was like, I know about this. I didn't know about that.
But
Like, I didn't know that there was a face to the horror. There was, as there always is, the human behind the monster.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's even worse.
Exactly.
Because to put a face to the malice is just it's
Exactly. When you think of monsters, you know that they're going to disappear as soon as the sun comes up, or as soon as your mom or your dad comes in to chase it away and make the shadows go away. Humans are the real monsters.
That's not how that works with people.
Exactly. They don't just ever. I mean, in Andre Rant's case, he did go away, but the footprint left behind.
And I mean,
here.
To say this in the least trying to be least harmful way about this, it was a different time.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of these things, like even as a young kid, I would be sent to the store all the time to go buy things for my mom, whatever else.
Right.
But nowadays, I wouldn't do that with my kids.
Absolutely not.
And I mean,
now I drive my nephews everywhere, man, everywhere.
Yep.
Like I it may be overprotective. Some people will say like I won't allow them to take public transportation, but there are crazy, psychotic people out there.
Yep.
And if I could deter that, if I could stop that, just get in the car. I'll drive you where we need to go.
I mean, look at Rand. Just to say, look at Rand. Rand wasn't specifically somebody who was going out to try and drive to find these. No, what he was doing was he was finding where parents had that little lapse.
Yep.
And he was there to attack. It's kind of like when you watch a nature documentary and you have a herd of zebras or gazelles and they're walking around the plains and you have a lion that's watching them. They wait for that one moment where one just strays too far away and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's predatory behavior at its basis, you know?
Absolutely. And I was trying to figure out when you were talking about like the prison testimonies, I was trying to figure out if you're not killing these kids, then how are you comparing yourself to Bundy? They both had a fucking Volkswagen.
Well, I mean, aside from that, but he was more of saying it, I think. His lawyer tried to paint it that he wanted to make himself look big and bad.
Yeah, he was just boasting about it just to be a big man in prison.
Yeah, until that shit came back to him.
Right.
But of all the ones to choose,
yeah.
Bundy, why Bundy? What if you're not killing these kids and they're kids, not women? How is that even remotely Volkswagen? As soon as he said he had a green Volkswagen, it's like Ted Bundy had a tan one.
Here's the question that brought me up, because this is where I was talking about that he was hunting and he was catching like lapses in parental supervision and stuff. Do you believe him to be a full out calculated predator where he sat there, saying,
No.
all right, well, I'm going to do this? Or was he more of an opportunistic hunter where he was going by and
opportunistic. And the reason why I say that is because with your lion watching the gazelle and just that one strays, it's always either the sick or the young.
And they've always stated that Ran wasn't all there.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Right. So this isn't going to be.
And that's not to be detrimental to anybody that might have any sort of developmental disability. It's just
absolutely not.
even like people talking to him, hearing court testimony, you could tell that there is something wrong.
Right. Right.
And I mean, aside from the obvious, him going after, children and yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that's not speculative. He's been caught with kids. He's been,
Right.
So, I mean, the guy, to be quite honest, and this is my own opinion, the guy's a scumbag.
Absolutely.
No matter what he could have wrong with him, whatever disability, whatever developmental problem he might have, he's still a scumbag because the fact that he might have these disabilities do not get rid of, or, it doesn't downplay the fact that he's done evil.
Right. And to know that a couple of the little ones did have a different ability as well, there's gonna be, if I had to say at any point, oh, here's the niche, if he also has a different ability, something going on mental, they also have a different ability, something going on mental or physical. When you have two that are on that same frequency, so to speak,
That same wavelength.
Yes. They're going to feel a little bit more at ease. They're going to feel a little bit more comfortable because, oh, you move like me. Oh, you talk like me. Oh, you're not talking to me like I'm different. You're talking to me just like I'm a person too. So if there's any type of malice aforethought there, I would say that does have an implication to it, but I can't, like we were talking earlier, it's circumstantial evidence at best. It's not concrete enough to say that's what the niche was and that's what led to this. It just so happened to be, like I said earlier, right place, right time.
Yeah.
That lapse in of review and being the weaker target.
Even so, though, like, this guy is proven to be like just a grade A scumbag. Like, even he was attracted. Like, if what was said was true, where even he said that he was playing hide and seek with Holly Ann Hughes beforehand, you're interacting with this child and you're trying to get them into that state of where they feel safe with you.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, if let's say I had friends come over and they have young children, I'll play around with their kids and stuff, I'll play hide and seek with them. I'll do all that silly stuff, But that's just because they're kids, and you want to make kids comfortable. You want,
Right.
But doing that to children you don't know automatically makes you suspicious,
Absolutely. And that, like you were just saying, as parents, that's going to be our go-to. This is a safe space that they can be. If their parents are here and they're welcome, their kids are here and they're welcome. For it to be a standalone thing is...
I mean, let's say as a parent, Kat, you go to Walmart, right?
Yeah.
And you have some random dude trying to play hide and seek with your kids. Aren't you going to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Not.
What are you doing, man?
Absolutely not. Though she be small, she be fierce as fuck, and I will drop a motherfucker and smile in the mugshot. Absolutely.
Because that whatever he's doing, while it might seem innocuous to play hide and seek with kids, the whole fact that, one, this isn't somebody you're up to something. There's something wrong here.
Right. Like, you want to play peekaboo with my youngest from a distance, by all means. You want to talk to him and, like, wave at him, or if he turns around and, hi, I'm full government name, even though it's never his actual full government name, then by all means. But you start getting closer and interacting to my kids, even my 13-year-old, that's when I'm going to put myself in between you, and 5'3" be damned. I'm as tall as you are, and I will take you down just as fast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, so that while playing hide and seek is not in and of itself something wrong, but when you're doing it to a child, there's
right.
So
as shitty as it is to say, if we didn't have the Ted Bundys, if we didn't have the Andre Rants, if we didn't have the horror stories that we have now, would it still be the 50s, 60s, 70s mentality where we do let our kids go out and we do let our kids explore?
I'm pretty sure that people still do that.
Oh, absolutely. But if we didn't have the horror stories and know what to look for now, would we continue to be in this oblivious state of true ignorance is bliss?
Mm.
Could this have gotten going from the shit show that was the 70s and 80s and all of the serial killers that we'll eventually get into to now? Trying to think of how to grammarly say this. How much worse would it be now compared to then if we didn't have these cautionary tales to prepare us as parents?
Well, that I feel like that goes towards like pattern recognition and stuff like that, because there's only so many times you can get burned before you realize, hey, that stove is hot. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, I think sooner or later we would have wound up there. No matter what, you would have taken the long road home, but you would have gotten there.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, look. All right, Ed, I could attest to this from both of us, because when we were younger and we would wind up going out and, you know, hanging out and doing all this stuff, how many times did you run late and now you're sitting there trying to think of stories to tell your mom when you got home because you're like, oh, the bus ran late, or I missed the train, you know, whatever else, because you knew you were going to be in for it when you got home. You know?
Right. Mm-hmm. So you come up with the worst possible, Mom, this guy broke down. I was just trying to help him out. That actually did happen. I still got grounded.
There was a fire, and I was trying to rescue some orphans, and your mom's like,
My mom was not stupid, and she's still not stupid.
There's many a times that I got home and I told my mom some fucking tall tale, and she just let me go. She just wants to see what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. My mom did the same shit. She just wanted to see how far am I gonna take this story, and then you know what? Out came the belt.
Exactly.
Out came the slipper. Like the wood.
She's just sitting there.
The wooden spoon.
She's sitting there listening to me tell my story like a fucking cop trying to take a report from like a drunk UFO abductee. So, yeah.
That's what happens.
Oh, yeah. All right, now, and then it turns. She'll be like, all right, I know you're full of shit, okay?
Like, you think you've got them until so that's all bullshit. And go to your
what
room.
really happened?
Yeah, so why were you really late?
Right.
Because, I mean, back in the day, my mom, and I think every mother has this.
Absolutely.
My mom had a look. And I tell everybody this. My mom, when you were out doing whatever you're out doing, if you're out with your mother and you're being an asshole, every mother has the look. And that look is, you know, you're going to get your ass beat when you get home.
Dude,
and the only thing you could do is hope they forget.
Yep.
I am 38 years old, and my mother still gives me that look, and it still terrifies me.
Yep.
My mom gives me that look, but you know what? It's kind of hard for me to be afraid of something that's 4'10".
4'10" or not, like the only thing I'm fucking the only thing I'm terrified of is Mama and Jesus. That's it.
And I'm terrified of your mom too. So I mean,
see, all right.
But
I also just for that.
I mean, but like my mother, she used to tell me all the time, "You may be bigger than me, but a broomstick is a good equalizer." And she's hit me with a broomstick before and broken one on me.
My mom punched me in the throat and said, "Let's wrestle."
And the look on his face says it all.
All I'm thinking about is that movie Identity Theft, the Identity Thief, where he's talking, or she just goes and runs.
It was when I came home from school and I told her the good news. I made the wrestling team. She's like, "Oh, really?"
Sal Bandini, want to wrestle?
Pretty much.
So show me what you got.
I couldn't even talk like, I'm not going to wrestle.
You know, they talk about hazing in school. I didn't think I'd get it at home, too. My mother bullies me.
Anyway.
But that's, if we didn't have these cautionary tales, we wouldn't be, like, there's a police that lives on our street. My son walks from his bus stop, which is literally 5 houses down, I've got his location on his phone. I know where he's at all times. If anything happens, don't run home. Run to that police officer's door. Start knocking, start banging, because they will be able to get to you before I will. I won't be far behind, but there are, I guess you could say, safety measures in place. There's a park that he can walk to from our house. Same situation. You check in with me every 15 to 30 minutes. You keep your phone on you. You keep your location on. Be home at this time. And if I don't hear from you, it's not going to be a call. Hey, sweetie, where are you? No, like, I'm on my car and I'm on my way. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. If we didn't have the Adam Walshes, if we didn't have the, what was Holly's last name?
And Hughes, Holly Ann Hughes.
If we didn't have the Holly Ann Hughes, if we didn't have the Ambers for Amber Alert, if we didn't have these things, we wouldn't have what we have now. Mm-hmm. And it's shitty it's shitty that it has to be these families that make those things happen. But join us next time where we give respect to those families. We dive a little bit deeper into the story of Cropsey and the horror stories of Andre Rant and the satanic panic of, because we mentioned it, the satanic panic of the 80s and what they thought that it was for. Until then,
don't forget the cocaine.
Don't forget the cocaine. Now we need shirts.
Incidentally, I went to pour one out for the homies and I completely missed it. Now I look like I peed in my pants.
Okay.
And on that note, leave a comment.
Don't forget the cocaine.
Leave a comment of the crazy things that you did as a kid. The shouldn't be here, but we are stories. Leave your boogeyman from your state or your hometown or things that you're connected to. Give a like, give a follow, do all of the things, ring the notification bell. Until then, I'm Kat Quinn.
I'm Eddie Winchester.
Mount Cadaver the Clown.
And this is Folklore and Felonies. Catch you on the next one.